All right, we're going to call the public session to order. Then could you please join us as Marcus Bassins leads the pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I can tell you the board is very excited for this first report. Looking forward to this for quite some time, so thank you everybody for coming.
Turn it over?
Turning it over.
All right, well, this, I have to say, this is actually, I can't come right out and say this is my favorite thing I've done since I've been here, but I can say it's absolutely one of my most favorite things that I've ever done, since I've been inside of Manchester. The opportunity to work with students from the elementary school all the way through the high school on something that we thought was really important, and something that they thought was really important, is a chance you don't always get, you don't really have an opportunity to do. So we came up with an idea to look at our logo, and we all know we've got our regular logo that's right here, our Center Rich's Sport, and I consider that our Center Rich's Sports logo. We've had a very serious focus on bringing International Baccalaureate into the district, and really bringing a very strong academic purpose into the Center Rich's schools. When I can tell you, when I got hired, and I told this story before in the public session, when I got hired 4 years ago, part of the conversation and the presentation that I kind of pitched to the board, that board, by the way, was, I think it was entitled something to the effect, making Center Rich's a model of kindergarten through 12th grade public education through the implementation of IBM programs. And so that's been our goal, and we haven't come off of that goal. I think this board has been fantastic in supporting the things that are most important. Number one, through a pandemic and all the things that we struggled with over the last couple of years, making sure that kids feel supported and feel welcome in our school district, no matter who they are. And knowing that that safety and security we provide for our kids and trying to empower them to be self-directed learners and self-directed individuals is something that's going to set them up for success in life. So with that in mind, we started to move into this idea of bringing a real cross-section of our school district together to talk about what is important about logo design. And as much as we like the Devil's Only for Sports logo, we thought that when we're doing National Honor Society inductions, when we're doing those types of events, that we could do something that's a little bit more purposeful and really represents not only our school, but our entire community. And so I think you'll see that, and I think you'll see the insights that your children brought to the table when we did this. So we put out, just go back one second, we put out this application and we put it out all through the building. We said, who's interested in doing the work? And coming and meeting together to talk about developing a new academic logo for St. schools. So that was the application. They filled out an online application. And here are some of the things that the kids said in the application. We asked the question, why do you want to do this work? So we got, I want to contribute to our school traditions, which is nice. Community involvement, to be a part of a team of students with similar talents, all really nice stuff. I'd like to be a part of a larger project for my school. I don't want to change our logo to get on the committee so that it doesn't have to change, which is important and shows that, hey, this is something we live with and we really love. And I think a lot of the kids felt that way. But I don't want the logo to stink. Now, stink is also italicized because that's a euphemism for a different word. But emphasizing that, hey, listen, I want to make sure that this is something that's really cool. And the cool thing is, when I talked to these guys this morning, I said, here's the neat thing. Some of you guys are going to graduate in a year, and our youngest student will graduate in about 8 years. But when they come back in 25 years, what I'd like to believe is that the logo that we're going to unveil today is something that is so enduring that they're going to be able to say, I did that, and that's cool. And that means that they contributed something to this district that's going to live well beyond their time in the walls of our schools. So pretty neat stuff. So we actually, we started with this idea of bringing all of the kids together. Am I accepting it? We did talk about who's going to do what. We also had a community partner. We have our school community partner is Ms. Corinne Moore from Syntax Communications. And she's somebody that works with our school district in things like our newsletters, when we have public relations, things that we work on. Right now, if you saw the board meeting last week, we are actually looking at the property at 559 Main Street as something that we feel like makes sense for the district to move into a contract for purchase. But that's going to go to a vote on November 2nd. And so Syntax Communications is going to help us to get the message out so everybody understands what that's all about. And there, she came in and actually met with this entire group and talked to them about, well, what makes a good logo? What are the things that should be included in the logo? So it wasn't just like, hey, throw some ideas out there. It was kind of an educational experience for all of them. And it wasn't like, come on in for 10 minutes. We sat there for well over an hour and a half in that first session, and really talked through a lot of those things. And so these are the students. So guys, just raise your hand when I say your name. Abigail Steen in 10th grade. Okay, thank you, Abigail. James Core, 6th grade. James here. There he is. Okay, good. James. Awesome. Liam Cressy, 8th grade. There's Liam. All right. Cole Egan. Is Cole here? Cole Egan. Okay. Namagaya. Namagaya done. There you are. Okay. Sorry. Trevor Galloway. So Trevor. Okay. Liam Hanlon. Okay. Chloe Gobus. Is Chloe here? Okay. Luke McCluskey. Luke there. Yanaya Ruiz. There you are, Yanaya. Trevor Sheehan. No. All right. Alejandro. There's Alejandro. Good. Clara Tevins. That's it. No. All right. Brendan Weinstein. Oh, Brendan's actually gonna be, is he zooming in?
I'm trying to.
We're trying to zoom him in, because we actually, again, this was a process that wasn't like a week long. This is a process that was about 7-8 months in the making, so we actually have alumni in this now, somebody who's graduated who's coming back. And Sandra Walmart.
Yes.
Okay, she moved. Okay, so these are the, that was our entire group. And again, it was volunteer, we didn't turn anybody away. These were all students that said, I really want to be a part of this.
So Dr. Rosero, maybe the students can come join
Yeah.
us so that as we're presenting, so
So you guys, why don't you guys come on up? I probably should have had them just come on as we do it. All right, so we're back to my slides. If you had I get a little excited about this, like I said, because this was really cool work. So this was day one, and this was some of the stuff that was put out there. And you can see, like, just an assortment of different ideas. You've got, like, here's a logo with a CM with, you know, the devil horn's still there. Like, we want to hold on to that, right? That's there. We've got, you know, some stuff with some riches in the IB. We've got like some other crests. We've got some shields. There was some talk about maybe doing a tree, because we talked about the community, small community with deep roots, and there was talk about like 3 different branches to a tree maybe to represent the schools. There was all these like really cool ideas coming around. Did you anything else that stood out to you, maybe? Just like monopolizing.
you're good.
Right, but like, so you can see like a lot of really cool different ideas up there, and everybody's ideas were valued, everybody's ideas were looked at and said, hey, in fact, everybody's ideas were valued so much that we had one idea that included all of the ideas. So
That is mine.
And you wanted to catch you up. You want to talk about
And my idea of putting all of our ideas into one logo.
So what we basically did is we took, you had drawn that eagle, right? And you had drawn that eagle in the background, and it was kind of like everybody then took turns and like drew the old logo, their little logo that they created inside of that logo. You know, and as you're doing these things, one of the things we wanted to ensure was that every single student here felt valued and felt like their ideas were contributing to the overall design. But obviously, it gets a little cumbersome when we try to get all of those ideas into one. And so we talked a little bit about that that's a good idea to make sure everybody's ideas are in it, but it doesn't work as a practical logo, right? So we talked about must-haves, and we said there are some things that we really all feel are really important. And so here's your list. The list is we want to represent our 3 buildings. We want to honor the history that is Center Riches. We want to highlight the great programs we have. I talked about the tree, the deep roots. Kids like the idea of having a shield in there. They saw a lot of logos with shields as we were doing our research. The book with the torch representing knowledge and, you know, passion for learning, those kinds of things. They liked. Many of them said, I want to see a circular one. I really like that circular kind of patch. A banner with some words or sayings, because the words give more meaning to the design was what was coming out of it. They wanted it to represent our goals, things that are important. Because we actually even talked about what the Board of Education goals were, and that the board has these 5 overarching goals, and it's what's most important for our districts, and it's what guides our district in the direction. So they said, well, we should represent some of those goals in there. Obviously, they wanted to have the name in there, and the historic piece of red and white. And I talked to these guys, and I told them the story about how apparently there was one homecoming many, many years ago where somebody must have used a logo that was not red and white. And we dug out an old memorandum from the superintendent of schools that directed everybody in the district to only use red and white as a logo. So it was very interesting to find those kinds of memos, and I think was part of finding that. But so we talked about that. We said, so red and white, those are our colors. We gotta stick with that, despite how much toner we use, right there. It's fun. Our business official keeps track of our toner, so we have to get.
We keep going through red.
All right, so we're gonna.
Okay, so now our high school team's gonna
Yeah.
talk a little
Good evening, everybody. My name is Liam Hanlon. I'm a student, senior in the high school. Tonight, community members, board members, administrators, me, high school, middle school, elementary school, we just want to show you guys our transition process and how our thoughts came together throughout last school year, this school year, and what it came into now, as you guys are going to see in the following slides. Thank you, everybody.
All team members across the district had great ideas to help the high school team work together. The team members all work together and each one brought unique skills to the table.
We had many meetings to perfect the logo. Each time we worked together, we improved the previous design. Look at where we started at our first meeting.
Throughout the process, we kept everyone's ideas in mind. We went from a hand sketch drawing to a digital design, and we are very excited for you to see it.
So, the big unveiling. Are you ready?
Yeah, so take a look at like where that goes, and especially, those are 3 different ones that could have come. And ultimately, when we brought it to Syntax, who worked on the logo to take the kids' vision into reality, we came up with. They can talk a little bit about some of the minor modifications that they made, even through.
Do you want to share like our over the last 2 weeks, what we've done to the logo? So this wasn't.
Remember like the coloring of the torch and the book and all that?
There was definitely just a lot of nitpicking.
Yeah. I like to say nitpicking, I would prefer to as refining.
Very nice. So, the original final logo, the outside was actually white in the background and the lettering was black. But our students reminded us that our colors are red and white. We really wanted to find a way to showcase red and white clearly. So we came up with this idea to have the negative space as white. Even things such as the line on the outside, they played with the coloring, they played with the thickness. I think we rearranged the order of the words a few times. I mean, these students were invested. And so this morning, we met for our final meeting with the students, and they sort of prepared for this presentation this evening. So what our middle school and elementary school students are now going to do is explain each component of the logo and why it is in the design. So Alejandro is going to start, right?
Yes. So, as you can see, the colors that we chose here were red and white. A little bit of black. Anyways, so I did some studying actually, because I wanted to see what is associated with red and white. And I came to the conclusion that in your brain, red and white are both associated with different things. So I'm gonna go with it. Okay, red. When you think about red, everybody here, you think about empowerment. Think about dominance. There's red all around this room right now. And I would be willing to say that it's one of, if not the most popular color. However, scientific research has proved even more than that. A study with a doctor known as Elliott and another one known as Mesa in 2008 was concluded that in the brain, red is associated with dominance, attractiveness, and power. Red is also the color of your blood, even though your blood is blue sometimes, so it's red sometimes. Which I would like to think plays into the fact that we are the heartbeat of the community. And the thing that pumps, blood is in your heart. Red is also, okay. So I like that these things symbolize the fact that since we're the heartbeat of the community, we're what makes it live. We're the personality. We are the dominance. White, on the other hand, I would be willing to say is mostly the opposite. In the brain, white is associated with innocence. It's perfect. It's good. See, if red is the dominant color, which would be empowering and powerful, then I would be willing to say that red protects white. So, we are protecting the community in a sense. I was gonna say something, but I forgot, so.
So now Unaya is going to tell us about.
Are we talking about the 1830 ornament? So the 1830 ornament logo, it represents the year that our district was established. It honors our rich history. Very nice.
Books, it represents knowledge, focus on academics.
So our next one was planned by our current fourth grader, Trevor Sheehan, and he is not able to be here this evening. But he was very upset about it, so he created a video so that he could be here virtually to explain the torch and the flame.
This excellent logo has a lot of history put into it, but my absolute favorite symbol of this logo is the torch and flame. One reason why the torch and flame is my absolute favorite symbol of this excellent logo is because it's igniting a passion for learning, so we can get smarter and shining a light to a bright future. The last reason why the torch and flame is my absolute favorite symbol in this excellent logo is because ours is so red, white, and black, just like the current logo. Anyways, what's your favorite symbol?
So we did promise Trevor at the end that we would ask that of the board for you to pick your favorite part of the logo. So we're gonna give you some time to think about this. We promised him we'd do it for him.
Under the book, you'll see 3 stars, and the stars are representing the pride that we have in our 3 schools, with the high school at the center and clustered closely to symbolize our close-knit community. We can see it in all areas, academics, art, athletic, and services. For that, was It also says empowerment. We seek to provide opportunities for students to take control over their own learning and destinies. What does it say? Equity. Equity recognizes the importance of creating an environment where everyone feels welcome, valued, and can reach their potential.
So this was our students this morning after the big reveal, their final to all of their work. And we would like to thank the board for allowing them to engage in this process. And like I said, I promised Trevor that we would ask which part of the logo is your favorite.
So can I say a couple of things? I don't know why, but the students never cease to amaze me when they come here and present. They're so well spoken, full of energy, and passionate about what they're doing. It's the best part of being on the Board of Ed, so we thank you. We thank you for that, and we thank you for that. You should not be thanking us. What you created is going to be a legacy, as Dr. Becerra said. So thank you, and you spent 8 months on it. I think Dr. Becerra brought the idea to the board about 2 years ago about creating an academic logo. I'm so happy that we went this way, because it truly is a representation of our community. What I like the best is, the circle, the outside thin circle. I like everything that's inside. Really phenomenal job by all of you. Thank you so much.
I like the inclusivity and how you guys included every single aspect of our district here, and all of you work together to create that. So I really think that that's special. Thank you.
Marcus, Danielle, you're not getting away.
I'm gonna say, I like what's right in the middle, I like the book, it's all about education and reading and learning and getting the information from the past, that other people pass on to you and passing it on to people in the future, so that's great.
I like the stars. I like having our both of the schools together, or, like you guys, which you guys did today, for the past year. So thank you.
Yeah, it's funny because I think one of the first designs we had, the stars were kind of like separated, almost like those dots are separated out. And the idea of bringing that cluster together was important to the unity of our community. That's kind of cool.
So thank you, and let's, one more round of applause.
Want to get a picture? Let's go back to the logo, actually. That right there. Just get that. So let's get everyone, you guys like kind of cluster it underneath. Everyone.
Laura gets nervous when people take pictures, she has to arrange them.
Yeah.
Just wants to do it just a camera.
So you got it?
Danielle, go in the picture, please.
Board, does board want to get in? Board want to get in?
You made it
No.
They did. You get it, let's be the focus.
Oh, I like the old logo.
Okay, Ricardo.
I'm trying.
Trying to put it on the picture.
Okay.
All right. So we do recognize it, we do recognize the school night and, the rest of the board.
Wait. Before they go. Oh, no, we're not getting, we're going to school opening recap. Let's just ask questions. We have people here.
Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions about this, agenda? Okay,
Now, we do recognize it is a school night, and I can promise you the rest of the agenda is not as appealing. I shouldn't say that, it's George's agenda.
It's not exciting at all.
If you want to stay for the meeting, that's fine, but you certainly don't have to. We recognize that there are probably places to get to, homework to get to perhaps. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's this, right?
Yeah. Great job. Great job up there presenting. Thank you very much. And it didn't stink. It didn't even come close. You guys blew it out of the water. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Because I know you could be somewhere doing something else.
That was really good.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us to the school opening recap.
Okay, well, really pleased to say that, school is back in session and we've had a wonderful opening. I can say that I do want to thank the community for their patience as we saw through transportation issues that always present themselves in the beginning of school. Clearly, ironing out routes, short bus drivers, those kinds of things do present challenges for us, but the community's patience in dealing with it, being patient while we sort through some of these things has been helpful. I did try to contact Ms. Laughlin at around 3:30 today, and she was able to pick up the phone, which tells me that the buses are about on time now. So we're, that's much better, but and of course, that's not just here, and, all it's just people who've seen those stories in other districts. And, but otherwise, I think that we're off to a fantastic start. Just getting into the buildings, feeling, just the energy that's in the buildings is fantastic. All three buildings, we've got administration of each of the buildings here, and I can say that they're working very hard with the teachers, and really pleased. A big thank you to our 12-month staff. We worked through to make sure we were ready to get open. Otherwise, with our facilities being ready, we are working toward our EPC contract, energy performance contract. We have new energy efficient film, new lighting in all our spaces. So lots of good things happening there. We will be presenting at the next meeting an update on our energy performance contract, where we will show the solar for the back parking lot of the high school. So that will be upcoming. And like I said, we're off to a great start. Excuse me. If you go around town, you should see some of these signs. We put some signs around for homecoming. Homecoming is Friday and Saturday. Friday evening, the alumni distinction ceremony is at 6 o'clock. We've also got tennis playing at 3, boys volleyball, girls tennis at 3 o'clock on Friday, varsity volleyball at 5 o'clock, varsity girls soccer at 5:30, varsity boys soccer at 7:30, and bonfire at 9 p.m. We are not burning floats because the parade is on Saturday morning. This year we are burning skids from pallets that we have assembled. We're burning them. But then after that, varsity girls volleyball starts us off at 9 a.m., girls JV soccer at 2 p.m., football game is at 2:30, and the JV boys soccer is at 4:30 p.m. So those are our homecoming festivities. I have to say, I do appreciate the patience from many of the parents who had, lots of questions over this. There was a cancellation in Section 11 of one of the football teams. We had originally had an extra week built in to our homecoming. We were supposed to be the following week. And because of that cancellation, it kind of threw things into disarray. We really had to do a lot of work to try to make sure that all of our teams could be home that day. We have a lot of schedules and games around. So no easy task. And so thank you all involved for making it happen. It might not be perfect, but it is the best schedule we could put together under the circumstances. So looking forward to seeing everybody celebrating all the great things around St. Richard's. One of the other things we are looking to do, and you may have noticed at last weekend, some of the, just St. Richard's Pride signage that's going up. We have just placed another order, and we will be including some more signage to, really draw attention to some of the pride we have in our district, and looking to, really promote that around the district.
Thank you. Brings us to donations. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education accepts the following donations. An FHS subscription in the amount of $156.54. Motion. Second. Discussion.
So those actually are, those are basically disbursements from our subscription. And when parents subscribe to an FHS, to watch streamed events. The district gets cut a check on a quarterly basis. So that donation is really more just sort of, I don't know if you can call it profit sharing or something, but it goes into the student accounts in general fund.
All in favor? Yes, motion carries 4-0. Board of Ed is asked to accept the minutes of the following meetings as prepared by the district clerk. Minutes of the meeting of the Board of Ed on August 24th, 2022. Minutes of the meeting of the Board of Ed on September 7th, 2022. Motion?
Motion.
Second? Discussion? All in favor? Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Financial reports, be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, accepts the following financial reports: internal claims audit report, August 2022, treasurer's report, June 2022. Motion? Second? Discussion? All in favor? Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Consent agenda. Be resolved that upon, motion to approve the consent agenda, items 11A through 13A. Motion? Second? Discussion? All in favor? Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Well, that brings us to general public comment. That was quick. Anyone? Okay. Thank you, Chief. Motion to, now I'm gonna get this wrong. Do I adjourn and then move into executive?
No, you go into executive session.
So motion to move into executive session to discuss personnel, the public discussion of which would result in an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Motion. Second. All in favor? Yes, motion carries unanimously. When we come out, we're just going to adjourn public. There will be no action taken. So you don't have to do that. Informational items. Next Board of Ed meeting. I was here wrong, so. Next Board of Ed meeting, Wednesday, October 12th, 2022. Executive 6 action meeting approximately 7 o'clock. We're going to be in the library for this one.
Word appreciation. Your favorite.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it.
That was much
Thank you.
more than I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah,